Welcome back to my channel. Ben here, and today we're gonna shoot a video I didn't want to shoot. I've had this really bad misfire lately, and I've been trying to diag it, and initially I thought plugs and wires, usually the first place to start. I've swapped injectors, I've done all sorts of things, but the reality is this misfire has been accompanied by a noise. There's a really good chance my camshaft is going to be garbage, which is going to be sad. It's been a good soldier. It looks like it's definitely lifters, and I don't necessarily know how bad the problem goes. So we're not going to work on the dream car LS2 build today or anything like that. It is just back on the Trans Am and figuring out what's wrong and figuring out what the future of the Trans Am looks like. So the first thing to do is tear it all apart. Well, this is my 98 Pontiac Trans Am. I've had it about 9 years now, and I've put most of the miles on it. It was my dream car once upon a time, and it certainly has been a ride. What we have here is a complete LS2. All aluminum, flat top pistons, 243 heads. We got big cam springs and all the valve train to back it up with full exhaust, and it's been a pretty healthy setup. Let's see where we're going to take it today. Alright, so there's actually a lot going on at the Power Fab Auto Sports Garage today. We got welding going on over there, and then ZR1's getting tuned over there. And of course, I'm over here working on my Trans Am. Got the intake manifold off, the coils off. That's pretty much all the external parts. So now we are at the engine. And now we actually start getting into it and figuring out what's wrong. So the valve covers are off. This is a good time to get my hands on everything and see how it feels. So I like to just kind of give them all a good shake. And honestly, first impression, these all feel pretty good. Like right there, that feels pretty normal. And of course, some of them are going to be on an upswing, so they'll be tight naturally. But honestly, these all feel kind of tight. I wonder if my push rods are properly sized. Right out of the gate, I'm pretty sure my issue is here on number 5. And I can see that there's significantly more patina, or less patina, on that exhaust runner. So that's kind of an indication that there's probably a problem there. Beyond that, this all looks fairly normal. We got 660 lift double springs, titanium retainers, all sorts of sweet goodies. We got a trending upgrade in the rocker arms. Sometime back, I actually had a rocker arm break on me. It's not particularly uncommon on these LS motors. Definitely not a necessary upgrade, but highly recommended. So we're in this deep. Nothing has made itself obvious yet, so the only thing left to do is to keep digging. Getting there though. Now that the rocker arms are off, the first indication of an issue I see is my valve tips on almost every intake rocker is completely worn down. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe it's a guide issue. Alright, power steering all the time. I've kind of been dreading this. I still have a plastic factory power steering pulley on here, so I gotta use a specialty tool to remove that so I can then pull off the power steering pump. It's always a little scary because when they're 20 years old, they have a tendency to break. And I'm hoping this one comes off without any trouble and is reusable, but that might end up getting replaced too. Cool. Alright, this is my pulley puller right here. This is a tool I rented from O'Reilly's some time back and just forgot to take back, and it's been a valuable piece of my arsenal ever since. It simply clamps over the pulley and then presses it off. The exhaust is all off now. I removed the driver's side header altogether. Passenger side header's just been lowered down enough so I could actually do some work. And basically at a point where I can start taking off the heads. We are definitely getting to a point where we should be able to see all the carnage very shortly. And I'm really hoping it's not that bad. I'm really starting to think what I'm gonna do. I was hoping to just come in here and throw it all back together with some new lifters, but it's probably not going to be the case. So this might get kind of wild, which would be cool. It'd be nice to pick up another 100 horse. All that's left to do to get the heads off and gain access to our most likely damaged lifters is to remove the heads. On this car, I was cheap when I did it, and I wanted to save like 60 bucks, and I just got some OE style torque to yield bolts, so they should come off pretty easily, but I'm gonna be paying for it because that means I gotta buy new ones. Now for the fun part. All right, heads are off. First impression, not bad. All the pistons are there. And everything looks fairly normal for the mileage. So that's a plus, no issues with the bottom end. I didn't really think I had any bottom end issues. The heads themselves look okay. These are some Felpro gaskets I ran. I don't think I'll be running them again, but that said, they've been troopers and no complaints with them. It's a multi-layer steel gasket for the 6.0. You could use it on just about anything. And a cool thing is they have the little provision right here for older heads. So you could run these on early LS stuff as well and still have the benefits of a multi-layer steel gasket. They're good gaskets. They've done their job. So, like I said, number 5 seemed to be the problem, and it's pretty obvious that there's a problem there. A misfire is present. It's sooty. All the other ones look pretty good. Like I said, these valve tips are pretty much totally worn out. So that tells me there's probably an issue with the guides. Maybe it's lifters, but it looks like some head work is probably in the future, which is really unfortunate because that's expensive and I didn't want to do this expensive. I wanted to piece this together, and it's looking like we're going more towards wild. So next thing to do, pull out the lifters, get our first glimpse at the cam, and see if it's savable. Let's just jump right in there and look at the problem child. Of course, all right, so that first one looks good. Keep these organized. That's a bad sign. That's a really bad sign. It's a crazy idea. Trying to take apart the lifter, and I'm thinking maybe I can slip my blind hole puller in there and drive it out with the blind hole puller. Okay, that feels super tight. Bigger problem. Ow. Basically, I had to get creative in pulling the lifter out. One of the bearings on the roller section of the lifter totally failed, and oh wow, this lifter's totally cracked. I'm glad I got this one. I did. I didn't see that. Basically, what was happening is the lifter actually failed and blew out the side, and it was seized in the lifter bore. And it was really difficult to get out. I had to get creative in removing it. I'm really afraid that the block's going to be trashed. So at this point, I know the camshaft is trashed. That sucks. I like that cam. It was an okay cam. We need a new cam. I'm going to go through our stock here at PowerFab Auto Sports and see what's just lying around, something used from an old project. We don't do a lot of cathedral-headed vehicles anymore. They're just not in vogue. So chances are there's one with dust on it in the back that I can take and put in here. Granted, we're a speed shop, we do cool stuff, so anything here is probably going to be a pretty wild camshaft. So I'm going to have to do some tuning. That pretty much opens up any possibilities of what we do there as far as how wild we want to get. But my concern right now is the block might be trashed. I gotta now pull the engine. Much bigger job than what I originally went into. I'm just gonna start out easy and remove some of the stuff off the top, water pump, valley cover, and this air cleaner so I can get the fans out. It should give me a lot more room and be a nice psychological victory before I start getting into the nitty gritty. Pulling transmissions on these suck. Not really, yeah, no, they suck more than your general car. So, that is what it is. Boom. Now, it doesn't really matter where I put any of these bolts. I'm at that point where I can literally take off every bolt from this vehicle, put it in a bucket, shake it up, and then walk away from it for a year, and then dump out that bucket and put every bolt right back where it goes. That is, I guess, one of my superpowers. I don't know. It's pretty cool though. It makes life easier. You probably don't have that superpower though if you're trying to do this yourself, so definitely try and keep track of all your hardware. A good way to do that is to put all your bolts back where they went, put zip ties around the end so they stay in stuff, and just label, guys. Very heavy, you don't want to drop this. This is actually a lightweight 18-pound flywheel, which I love very much and probably will go away if I change out the clutch. Race cars. Well, with that, all that's left to do is lower the car down, maybe pull the radiator and hook up our engine hoist and scoop this engine out. Cool. All right, so that's definitely an achievement unlocked for me. I've never pulled one of these motors out the top, and it really wasn't that bad, honestly. Like, I guess I'm spoiled with a lift. This is the first time I've done my car with a lift. It's just kind of ran for me all this time, and that went pretty smooth. So now that it's out, I'm gonna dry dock everything, but this is my first chance to actually sort of assess the damage and see how bad things are. I'm hoping it's not that bad. All right, let's take our first look. Yeah, there's definitely some damage in there. Yeah, it's pretty ugly. See if I can get you guys a shot. So, as you can see, there's definitely some scoring in there, and I'm gonna have to see if I can fix that. Otherwise this block won't be salvageable. So I'm gonna have to start doing some research on how to take care of that, and I got some ideas, and I'm sure I can probably pull something off. This is probably the conclusion right here. Thanks for watching if you're still here, and make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of the Trans Am and just other projects in general. This is definitely kind of a sadder episode. My mighty 98 Trans Am is down, and that really sucks. But it's gonna come back better and better, so just a bit of time is all it's gonna take, and yeah, see you guys around.